The detention bay of the Caltharian cruiser Void's Edge hummed with the constant thrum of alien technology. Liza pressed her back against the cold metal wall, watching as the towering insectoid guards chittered amongst themselves in their clicking language. Their compound eyes gleamed like black mirrors in the harsh blue lighting, and their razor-sharp mandibles clicked with what she had learned was either amusement or hunger. James sat across from her, his hands bound with energy shackles that pulsed with each heartbeat. Blood trickled from a cut above his left eyebrow where one of the guards had struck him during their capture on Europa Station. His dark eyes met hers, and she saw the same determination that had gotten them through 3 years of deep space reconnaissance together. "Still think your diplomatic immunity card will work here?" James whispered, managing a weak smile despite their circumstances. Liza almost laughed. 3 days ago, they had been archaeological surveyors documenting pre-human ruins in the Europa ice fields. Now they were prisoners aboard an alien vessel, accused of trespassing in what the Caltharians claimed was their sacred territory. The irony wasn't lost on her that humans had been exploring space for barely 2 centuries, yet everywhere they went, someone else had apparently been there first. The ship's intercom crackled with harsh alien syllables, and the guards became more agitated. One of them, taller than the others with elaborate scarification across its carapace, approached their cell, its multifaceted eyes fixed on Liza with an intensity that made her skin crawl. "You will be processed for violation of the sacred depths," it said in stilted galactic standard. "Your species expansion ends here." "We had no idea those ruins were significant to your people," Liza replied, keeping her voice steady. "We are explorers, not invaders." The guard's mandibles clicked in what she was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of laughter. "All humans say this, yet you spread like infection across galaxy, claiming what is not yours." Another guard entered the detention bay, this one smaller and bearing different markings. It carried what appeared to be their confiscated equipment. As it set down their gear, its eyes fell upon something that made it freeze completely. The larger guard noticed immediately. "Sub-Commander Kex? What causes delay?" The smaller guard, Kex, remained, motionless, staring at something in their equipment pile. Its mandibles had stopped clicking entirely, and a strange, almost reverential posture had overcome its body. "Commander Vectar," Kex whispered, its voice trembling with something that sounded like awe. "The female. Look at her neck." "Commander." Vectar's compound eyes swiveled toward Liza, scanning her with new intensity. She instinctively touched the small pendant that hung from a chain around her neck, a simple thing she'd worn since childhood, a gift from her grandmother. It was barely visible beneath her expedition suit's collar. "Remove the restraint field," Kex commanded urgently. "Sub-Commander, that is not. Now." The smaller alien's voice carried an authority that seemed to surprise even the commander. "Look at what she bears." The energy barrier to their cell flickered and died. James tensed, ready to fight, but Liza held up a hand. Something had fundamentally changed in the room's atmosphere. The other guards had gathered now, all of them staring at her with what could only be described as shock. Commander Vectar approached, slowly, almost cautiously. "Human female, the symbol you wear. Where did you acquire it?" Liza's hand moved to the pendant, a small, intricate design that resembled a spiral galaxy with what appeared to be geometric patterns radiating outward. She'd never thought much about it. Her grandmother had claimed it was very old and from very far away, but Liza had assumed she meant Europe, or perhaps Asia. "It was my grandmother's," she said carefully. "She said it had been in our family for generations." The guards exchanged rapid clicks and whistles. Sub-Commander Keck stepped forward, his entire demeanor changed from captor to something approaching worship. "Do you know what you carry, child of Earth?" Kex asked softly. Liza shook her head. "That is the mark of the first ones," Commander Vectar explained, his voice now filled with reverence. "The ancient race that seeded this galaxy with intelligence, long before the Caltharian Empire, long before any of the current powers arose. They vanished eons ago, but they left guardians, protectors. Those who bore their mark were to be considered sacred. James looked between the aliens and Liza, confusion clear on his face. You're saying Liza's jewelry makes her some kind of chosen one? Not chosen, Kex corrected. Descended. The first ones were master geneticists. Before they departed this realm, they planted seeds, literal genetic seeds, in promising young species across the galaxy. Each marked bloodline carries within it a fragment of their knowledge, their purpose. Liza felt the weight of the pendant differently now. What does that mean for us? Commander Vector began releasing James's restraints personally. It means, young ones, that you were never trespassing on our sacred ground. You were returning to it. The ruins you discovered on Europa were First One architecture. Your genetic heritage called you there. The archaeological surveys, Liza breathed. We always seemed to find sites others missed. James used to joke that I had a sixth sense for ancient ruins. Not a sense, Keck said, recognition. The first ones built their sites to be found by their inheritors when the time was right. Your species has reached that threshold. The commander moved to a communication panel and began entering commands. I am canceling our report to the Caltharian High Council. Instead, I will recommend that humans be granted inheritor status under the Ancient Accords. What does that mean? James asked, rubbing his wrists where the shackles had been. It means, Kex replied with what might have been a smile, that your people just went from galactic newcomers to one of the founding bloodlines of civilized space. Every major power in this galaxy will need to acknowledge your claim to First One heritage. Liza looked down at the simple pendant that had just changed humanity's place in the universe. Her grandmother's words echoed in her memory. Very old, and from very far away. It seemed Grandma Elena had known more than she'd let on. There's something else, Commander Vector added. If you truly carry First One genetics, then you have access to their repositories of knowledge, technologies that could advance your species by millennia. But more importantly, he paused, his compound eyes reflecting something like hope. You may be the key to finding where they went. As the detention bay transformed into what was now clearly a place of honor rather than imprisonment, Liza realized their simple archaeological mission had just become something far more significant. Humanity wasn't just exploring the galaxy anymore. They were coming home to their inheritance. The stars, it seemed, had been waiting for them all along.